Hi, I'm Irene, and today I'll be demonstrating a technique called weaving. It's a technique that Guy and Irene used in their retirement years, and we're using a loom very similar to one that they used. Guy and Irene Buzzard took up weaving after they retired from Easter. This is a Leclerc loom, much like one of the ones Dr. Guy Buzzard used in his retirement years when he took up weaving. These here are shafts. This particular loom has 4 of them. Each shaft has these metal things on it called heddles, and each heddle has a hole in the middle that you thread the warp threads through. This bar here is the beater bar, and the beater bar combined with the reed is what makes sure that the weft threads, which go left to right, are pushed close enough together to form a fabric. Okay. Down here we have treadles. This particular loom has 6. Each treadle is connected to the shafts, and by pressing a different treadle it raises and lowers the shafts, and that creates the pattern. You start a weaving project, all you have to do is take the thread that you're going to use for your weft thread and lay it in between the warp threads in the pattern. So we're going to start with a simple 1-2 pattern. And so we press the right treadle and pass it through. And you always want to make sure that there's a little bit of a loop at the end so that you don't pull the fabric too tight and make your threads bleed into each other. Once you've got your thread laid out, you take your beater bar, and just like the bar's name says, you beat the thread in. Okay. This first part that we work on, that's just the same color warp as the weft, that's called a tabby, and that's just your plain fabric. You need a little bit of that on before you can put any sort of a pattern on. This pattern here is the next pattern that we're going to start on our weaving. Once you have enough tabby on your fabric, then you can start your pattern. We're going to start with a small honeysuckle border. It doesn't matter which way you thread the first thread through, as long as you remember which side you started on and constantly go back and forth. Yeah, the important step when making a pattern is to remember that you must always throw the tabby through as well as your pattern color. Now that our pattern's finished, you always want to cut the colored thread just enough so that you'll be able to tuck it back under the next strand. And to truly finish off a pattern, you always want to put a few stitches of tabby back through just to make sure that it holds the pattern in place. and we're done. In the 1960s, Guy wove fabric that eventually was made into a dress for his wife Irene.